So if you go ahead and treat those 20 trees,
Yes.
because you said you changed from save to preserve, how long does that treatment last?
Right.
What happens 5 years down the road
Sure.
or 10 years?
With the current treatments, this would be repeated every 2 years. That's as far out as any of these companies are willing to say, yes, it'll work for the 2-year time period. So yes, every 2 years, you'd have to be repeating this. Obviously, the tree's getting a little bit bigger, so your cost might go up, through the course of those 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. The current thinking is, and there's no firm numbers on this, with the ash borer population exploding when it gets into a town and killing off any untreated trees, that can take anywhere from, let's say, 12, 15 years is what they're saying. But after that, all the untreated trees have been killed, and we'll spread out to 15 years. Then the ash borer population itself crashes, because it's been eating itself out of food. So the only remaining ash trees are the treated trees. They still need management, yes, because there's going to be residue ash borers, especially because we're out here in the country, there's woods around us, things like that. Nobody knows for sure just how long that period is. So it's got to be trees you really want to do, and trees you're sure that the city will carry through, beyond your terms. I mean, you folks have a lot of big decisions to make on your trees. One way to think of your trees is another part of your infrastructure, like the stormwater sewer, your roads, your sidewalks. It's all part of that whole picture of your infrastructure. And these benefits, that you provide, almost that $500,000, if you remove, well, let's see, that's all the trees. I should have had just a number on what the ash trees provide. I don't have a calculator, but there'd be a big chunk of that, 15% of that. It would take a long time to regenerate that whole 15% of your population, starting from saplings. It can be done, of course, but you're looking a long time out.
So is it, in other towns that you've done or other towns that have gone through this, is it safe to assume that, in all the residential areas, is it generally about the same percentage, give or take? Because this is just the medians, this is just the city's trees.
Correct, this is the city trees.
So if you look at all the others, which probably aren't going to get money spent on them, right?
Not many.
So we're going to lose a lot of those.
Correct.
But is it safe to say, in your experience, that generally it's about the same percentage?
As far as the city-owned trees, as I go community, you folks are actually a little bit lower than most.
But I mean, our town.
Or within your town here.
Like, would you assume in the rest of the town that it's about the same percentages?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
You have a very well canopied town. If you look at a Google picture, you can see there's lots of trees here. In fact, my estimate of the time it would take me to inventory your street trees was way off. I went 60 hours more than I estimated. So yes, you have a lot of trees. You're going to lose a lot of those privately owned trees. No doubt.
Privately owned trees.
Right. In fact, just a couple blocks away, there's someone that has 4 or 5 ash trees right in their front yard on the south side where they're doing the most good in summertime, as far as shade trees. But yeah, I went by that house and I thought, oh boy. And they're in pretty good shape too. I don't know if they can afford to fix it or reserve them, but maybe. Another question, and again, thank you, Mr. was last, when I presented the summary, the request was made for a map that would show the trees are recommended for removal. And again, thanks, Mr. Roeder. We were able to get that completed today. That's what I have here. And it's quite large, or 3 by 5 foot map. It's got all the 56 trees that are recommended for removal on it. I can pull out of here if you like, if you want to see it now, or.
I don't.
Okay.
I think we can use it as a shade in Al's office later.
It's very helpful. It's big enough scale. You can actually see what the trees are located on which streets, whatever. I think it'll help your crews and you folks decide just what to do and when. And that was the short version of the inventory.
Well, very good.
Okay. Any more questions, folks?
I don't. Anyone else have?
Okay. My contact information is obviously here, so if you do have questions and going down the road, by all means, let me know. I'll be happy to help you out in any way I can.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time, folks.
approval of the bills.
I'll make a motion.
Austin?
I-
Second.
Danny, second. Okay, roll call on this.
Holland,
I have
Oh,
one
oh,
question.
oh.
I had a question on this Raycom. There was one for Raycom equipment or Raycom Corporation for equipment. What type of equipment?
Raycom is law enforcement, usually installing something in a car.
Oh, okay.
So
So
probably
it's
the-
something
the-
for the
the
new
new- the
police
new
car?
squad car.
Okay.
Take it back.
No, I still had the question, but no,
Nope.
you can.
It's something you probably wouldn't see in almost any other vehicle, but they install radios and lights and stuff. Our squad cars true.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Holland,
Yes.
Lennius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes,
Ellenbach,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
okay. Hearings, adopt an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Independence, Iowa by amending Chapter 69, parking regulations, specifically by repealing Section 69.22, recreation vehicles, and replacing it with a new section. First, we'll need a motion to receive and file proof of publication. Danny?
Second.
Dustin? Okay, roll call?
Lennius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes,
Ellenbach,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Holland.
Yes.
okay. Need a motion then to hold a hearing.
So moved.
Okay, John, second by Dustin. Okay, roll call?
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes,
Ellenbach,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Holland,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
okay. And no objections on file?
No objections on file.
Okay, any questions or?
I had a couple people call me about this, and I don't know if this is the time, but I'm assuming that if we have something like when we have, down, especially by the rivers, when we have like the floods or something and people move all of their stuff out, and a lot of people do move trailers and things like that up to higher ground. We get a free pass on that kind of thing, because that was what they were really worried about.
Yeah, and usually it's done either through a mayor's proclamation, either the city manager proclamation or
Yeah.
something saying that it can be temporarily do that in an emergency situation. Yeah.
Those were the only concerns that I had. Three people call me about that, and
Yeah, in those times and events, we
Yeah.
have to preclude a lot of things
right.
to get things back
Right.
to order again, yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask something? Actually, I don't know what day it was, anyway. Day this week, I had 3 people stop me on the exact same morning I was outside working, asking me about this ordinance. Can we just clarify again what this ordinance is going to be about? Because I remember the first part of it had, I remember what it is, and I know from what I'm understanding, we had the parking on private property, which we have removed from this ordinance, and it's just that we are not allowing vehicles to be parked for 24, well, you can park for 24 hours in a certain spot, but then you have to be moved 300 feet, correct?
Correct,
From that spot, and they can be parked at another spot for 24 hours, but it has to be moved 300 feet. The private property part we've taken out of this ordinance, so that does not affect the trailers, the campers and stuff parked on private property.
right, or putting pavement down, gravel down,
Got it.
those types of things.
I
The-
had people just ask
yeah.
me about it, and I explained that to them. I just wanna make sure if anybody else out here that has a question.
So in other words, this is to get them off the street, right?
Yes.
Right, this just
Yeah,
dealing with
and-
vehicles.
I believe the one thing to remember too is our lawn care policy is still in effect for, if you kind of have nuisance grass and weeds growing up around the sitting piece of equipment, you will still get your lawn mowed and get charged.
Right, so that's kind of a different
Yeah.
area, but they still need to keep the looking good where they're parking something.
Yes.
And the one thing we did keep in here is if it is a motor home, travel, or camping trailer, it cannot be inhabited if it's on public property.
Public property,
Public property,
but you could if it's on private property.
yes.
So in other
You-
words, I
you
could have
are-
my uncle from California.
Correct,
Yep.
but
I
not,
have an
but you can't go drive it out in the street and have them live in there.
Okay,
Well, they trip over the drop cord anyway.
Yeah.
Good questions. All right, motion to close public hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Mike?
second that.
Okay, Austin, second. Roll call?
Hill,
Yes.
Dallenbach,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cullen,
Yes.
Lenius.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Okay, motion to receive, file, consider, and adopt the ordinance for the first time. Okay, Denny? Don, second. Okay, roll call?
Dallenbach,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cullen,
Yes.
Lenius.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes. Okay, so that's passed. Still be two more readings on that if anyone has questions. Okay, under ordinances, item 6, motion to receive, file, consider, and adopt the ordinance for the second time, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Independence, Iowa by amending Chapter 40, Public Peace by adding a section pertaining to excessive noise. And no laughing, I actually was reading ahead, so. This particular one deals with the noise that
The car.
other communities